Hi everyone, welcome to this digital short which I'm producing based on a little bit of work that I'm doing at the moment around virtual reality with a book coming out in 2022. And the specific thing I want to talk about today was my initial thoughts on how one might do content analysis using VR materials. And the case study that we're going to use here is the AAA game Half-Life Alyx. When you are doing virtual reality, it's very different to engaging with, a game or similar, because you're actually trying to capture not only the game but also the body's movement in space. That's how VR works. It's kind of tracking your movements in space. So if you purely captured the kind of gameplay when you're trying to record stuff for content analysis, you would miss this physicality. Hence needing to set up a camera to record the play space, and that captures sometimes somewhat inelegant or even in the case of the video here, somewhat indecent bits of video footage where you get a little bit of bum crack that you weren't expecting. VR has profoundly visceral qualities. We had a little test project which one of my master students, Carla Solomon-Drake, organised using the first-person shooter Arizona Sunshine. And Arizona Sunshine, although quite a cool game, is quite cartoony in its feel. In the VR headset it feels quite realistic, but the graphics are still quite cartoony. Contrast this to Half-Life Alyx, where if you actually look at any video footage of this online, it's a deeply realistic kind of looking AAA game. When you're in the headset, there's a real visceral horror to its effects. It's very different to just playing, a game on a screen. It can be genuinely terrifying in places. You have a deeply kind of physical response to it. Your heart rate goes through the roof. And in terms of actually, the sort of ethics of using VR, this isn't the kind of thing you'd necessarily want to put participants into, because it can actually be really quite distressing being in this virtual space of a horror game. Big difference that we see here. This is one of the earlier Half-Life games, and these things called head crabs, which jump at you on the screen, and you hit them with a crowbar, and it's not that stressful. But when you're actually playing in VR and a head crab literally jumps at your face, then your reaction is extremely physical. So actually capturing that physicality is important to understanding the kind of way that you're engaging with the game, so in order to do a content analysis. So in terms of what you're doing with the game, you're trying to capture several different things at once. You're trying to capture the gameplay, and here I've got the camera set up so that we're sort of capturing a TV. You're also trying to capture here my movements as I'm engaging with the game space that we can see projected onto the screen. So we've got two different elements going on there. But also as you're playing, you're trying to maintain a commentary in order to actually say, well, this is what's happening, this is how I'm feeling about what's happening. And then doing not just a reflection after each game play exercise, kind of like a video diary almost, but also a reflection before going in. Because of the intensity of the VR experience, it can be really quite stressful, just the prospect of going into VR. So kind of capturing a before and after video diary is kind of important. But the problem with this sort of different strands of data that you're gathering is that it starts to become kind of tricky to analyze these together. Obviously you can transcribe the commentary, and you can augment that transcription with little descriptions of what's happening in the gameplay at that time and the physical response of the player at that point. And you also need to sort of think about sequences of video, kind of little capturing like a film strip almost of video to capture different key sequences of gameplay and body language within that. But it's a lot of stuff to actually pull together. And in the sort of experiments we did with Half-Life Alyx, there's about 20 hours of video material captured into the playing through the whole game. So it's an awful lot of stuff to try to go through and bring together. So one of the things that we have to do this for is it's going to be part of a chapter in a forthcoming book, myself and my collaborator Tess Osborne, with a couple of, three of my master students, Emily Gadsby, Tash Keane and Carla Solomon-Drake. We've got a contract with Bristol University Press, so we really do have to deliver it. So hopefully early 2022 you'll be able to see a little short book called Virtual Reality Methods, a Guide for Researchers in the Social Sciences and Humanities. So hopefully by the time that that's coming out, I will have figured out how to do this sort of VR analysis in a kind of meaningful way.